Breaking news suggested Donald Trump is facing serious trouble within the military community. Up next, we will break down the shocking development putting his leadership under scrutiny. It starts with CNN highlighting what they describe as his growing military missteps, followed by Fox calling him out over a major false claim. Stay tuned as we uncover the backlash now building among members of the military who once strongly supported him.
Everything they have is gone, including their leadership.
We've already won in many ways, but we haven't won enough.
You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over. Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure. I don't like to say this. We've won this with this war.
I'm not a shrink, so I don't know what purpose it serves by saying he's a narcissistic sociopath. I mean, that's not the issue. The issue is he doesn't know what he's doing. And I think a lot of the behavior shows the panic that he's in, that he can't see a way out of this. For whatever reason, he thought it would be easier than it was. I can't believe he wasn't told that by the Pentagon and others, told that they would try and close the Strait of Hormuz, told that they would go after the Gulf Arab countries. He apparently either didn't listen or didn't believe it, and now he doesn't know what to do. So I think a lot of this is panic more than anything else.
Everything they have is gone, including their leadership.
I do believe the major negotiations are at a much higher level. This involves China. This war is all about not only defanging Iran, but repelling some Chinese influence from the Middle East. And China is getting the message. China is extremely concerned. Asia is mostly dependent on oil that comes from the Straits of Hormuz towards Asia. We're not dependent on that. And so I believe negotiations that are at higher level. Pakistan being a location for those negotiations is interesting. Pakistan is invested in an intact Iran. Pakistan has economic and energy interests with the Iranian regime. So it may not be exactly neutral, but the Pakistani chiefs, the chief of the military there, the Field Marshal Asim Munir, and the Pakistani Prime Minister enjoy a very direct engagement with President Trump.
CNN and Fox may have briefly found common ground in criticizing Trump's leadership, but the idea that the military community is still firmly behind him does not fully hold up. According to a recent New York Times report, the country remains deeply divided over a war that many feel Trump has failed to clearly explain. Take Crystal Zimmerman, an army veteran who served in Iraq. While she initially supported strike on Iran nuclear sites, he now worries the conflict is turning into another endless war with no clear direction. She describes it as a waste of resources that makes the US appear aggressive rather than strategic. Across the country, frustration is growing as the war entered its 7th week. Peace talks have stalled, and Trump has responded with a mix of threat and inconsistent messaging, including ordering a blockade of Iranian port after tension in the Strait of Hormuz escalated. Public opinion has shifted sharply, with the majority of Americans now opposing the conflict, a stark contrast on the strong support seen in earlier wars. Many people say they feel confused and unprepared for a war that was never clearly laid out. Even some Trump supporters are questioning his decisions. In military-heavy communities like Colorado Springs, San Antonio, and Fayetteville, concerns are rising that the U.S. could be heading into another prolonged conflict similar to Iraq or Afghanistan. For some, the shift feels especially during Trump's campaign as a leader who would avoid endless war, yet his recent actions seem to contradict that promise. Veterans and voters alike are expressing disappointment not just in the president but also in Congress for failing to push back. Rather than turning out, many Americans appear to be paying closer attention, particularly in military communities where the human and economic cost of war are felt most directly.